If you picking up opposite sex friends, I'm kind of looking at you a little bit suspiciously. Why? What you exchanging numbers for? What are you exchanging Instagram for? I think men understand this so much better. Women, you got to understand this. A man that just met you off the street, he doesn't care about your man at all. He doesn't care about your future at all. He does not care about your goals at all. He's trying to see, like, is there a weak point? What if she says she got a man? What's she doing talking to me? Women will be like, I told him I had a man. He's like, the fact that you said you got a man and you still gave me your number, I just got to know exactly why you needed a little bit of extra attention. You look like a mark. You might even be easier than the single lady because you must be frustrated. You must be wanting in some way. You might be easier than the single lady who's really happy on her own. Like, I just got to see where he not getting it.
Hey y'all, welcome to Boundaries and Grace.
Hey y'all, I'm Taylor Chandler. We're doing a Q&A. We're gonna do 4 questions today. I'm gonna be spending most of my time on the question that I just pinned, which is can women and men be friends when the woman is in a relationship? Here's some other questions I'm gonna be answering today. Would you do paid matchmaking? 2 situational questions. My baby mama hates me and I deserve it. How do I create an effective co-parenting situation? I deal with a lot of people in co-parenting situations, okay? Another situational question. What do you do when you acknowledge your bad behaviors and still decide to commit to a relationship, but the victim isn't being graceful or is having a hard time forgiving? We're talking about that today. Some other questions that are in the bank that I will not be talking about today, but I definitely will be later. One I was going to do today, which was this one. Why do women have a hard time being held accountable? Y'all, I was like, I need a whole episode. I need a whole episode on that. I was like, I'm not even going to try to fit it in today. I literally don't have the time, especially because with this whole women and being friends with men thing while they're in a relationship, that is a big, I got to break down a lot of different things in that one. I was like, I can't even do the women being held accountable today. Okay, but I'm going to make it a whole nother episode because it's just too much. Another one that we're definitely going to be talking about is the deep family root of failed relationships. And I want to handle that in a very careful way. So the first thing that I'm going to do with that question is do a whole episode where I'm not going to do it live. I'm going to record it on my own that just has research. I'm talking about, I'm going to be putting the screenshots up, the stats, the graphs, the tables, the references. I'm doing a whole research project, y'all, because we need to just get some facts on the table. And then I'll do a different episode that's a bit more conversational and that talks about some more situational things. But the very first thing we're going to do is just put the facts on the table, okay? So that's a whole big project that we have to do. Some other questions that I'm going to be answering. Someone a while ago submitted that they wanted me to talk about Rivellino's green line test. Do y'all know what that is? And I actually think it's kind of interesting. That's another one that I thought I needed to put screenshots up while we're talking about it because it's so visual. Rivellino's green line test. So if you don't know what that is, I'll do a bit of an episode on it at some other time, but it's so visual that I think it would be difficult to talk about it without the visuals there. But I do think it's an interesting theory. I don't subscribe to the theory in its entirety, but I do think that there's some interesting things to pull out of that. Some other submissions: developing and maintaining healthy platonic relationships. Are Black women a self-interest group? Someone wants me to talk about would I ever do polyamory or polygamy, or what do I think about it? So that'll be in a Q&A in the future. So how to stay focused and manage time, and sexual attraction being more than just physical attraction. So those are some of the things. If you have a question about that you want, or a topic request that you want me to cover, there's a link in my story right now. And if you're catching this late, you can DM me and I will send you the link and you can submit your question there. Let's do this first question. Would I do paid matchmaking? And then we're going to get into the big question. Can women and men be friends? Number one, would I do paid matchmaking? Like, will I facilitate that? Absolutely. And we're working on it. I'm excited about it. I think that it's going to be really good. The big focus on this matchmaking thing is doing preliminary testing and vetting of people with their emotional state, mental state, and relationship readiness. Not just do you want to be matched, okay? It's not a dating app kind of vibe. Okay? Not just do you want somebody, but are you actually ready for somebody? And so we're talking about testing emotional intelligence testing, attachment, assessment of your family history, family trauma. What do you understand about it? How have you coped with it? What are you doing now to deal with it? How do you understand how it's showing up in your present life? Okay, do you know your needs? Do you know your triggers? I need you to communicate to me a boundary. We need to test. We need to assess so that before you even get put in front of somebody, we already know. Now, what's going to happen after you do the testing? I can't really give you all the details. I can't really give you all the details, but there will be ways for you to basically get ready. If you're interested and you're not ready, there'll be some opportunities and ways to get ready so that you can be matched. Live events, situations like that. So that is definitely something that is a really big project and something that I'm really interested in doing. So pretty soon I'm going to be putting up a link so that if you're interested, then you'll be on that email list so that when it's time for us to send out some information about that, you'll get that. Okay. I see somebody was interested in the matching. Is anybody else interested in that? One thing I think that we miss in Western culture is a system of like a marriage system, right? Like a culture of marriage, a culture of relationship, and even the expectation that you're going to stay together. Okay. The accountability from the people around you that you will stay together. If you're interested, just be on the lookout for that. The link is not available yet, but it will be soon. We need some order in this house. Okay. I'm talking about earth. I'm talking about earth. Okay. We need some order. Now here's something that is available, y'all. And I really, really want y'all in on this. Okay. I'm going to be doing some free coaching, free therapy, free coaching stuff. I'm a therapist and I'm a coach. Some free therapy and free coaching stuff for some people who are willing to let me use your video. Yeah, like we'll do a video together. We'll do a session together. It'll probably be about 2 hours. Okay. We'll do a session together and you got to be willing to let me use your video for the greater good. I'm talking about public video. Okay. So I'm going to be putting up a link after I post this live. And if you're interested in that, then you can fill that out. Give me your contact information. I'll reach out to you. So that's going to be some opportunities for you to get some one-on-one coaching and feedback. But you got to be willing to let me use your video online. Okay. So there's going to be an option whether you want to do it live, whether you want to do live stuff, or if you want to have it pre-recorded. I think that I'm going to have an extra incentive for people who want to do it live because that's a bigger ask. All right. So if you're interested in that, if you've been thinking about you've been like, I need therapy or I need coaching or I need some kind of feedback, but it hasn't been affordable for you, or you just think it would be fun to do it in a public way. Okay. I want you. So I'm going to put that link up after I finish this live. Hey, Courtney, I see you're interested. Anybody else that might be interested in that or someone you know? And by the way, yes, I need women and men. All right, let's get into it, y'all. Here was the whole question. What is your take on dating women with male best friends and multiple male friends? I've been told by a woman that her male best friends have been there for her breakups and emotional support. I don't believe that this is something I want my woman to have with another man. Should I put my foot down and say no male friends? Or should I simply walk away? Or is this something I should accept? I'm going to read the question again. What is your take on dating women with male best friends and multiple male friends? I've been told by a woman that her male best friend has been there for her breakups and emotional support. I don't know why I'm laughing. I shouldn't. Hold on. I've been told by a woman that her male best friend has been there for her breakups and emotional support. That's something in my throat, y'all. I don't believe that this is something I want my woman to have with another man. Should I put my foot down and say no male friends, or should I simply walk away? Or is this something I should accept? Okay, let's start here. Stop. Yeah, stop. Just cut it out. Let's be serious. Let's start here. In my opinion, I got a lot on this, y'all. I got so much on this. I was just typing away on my notes. I said we got a lot to say about this, y'all, because it's a gray situation. In my opinion, start here. It's less about men being around. Hear me out. I think it's less about men being around, period. And it's more about how she interacts with them. That's the real question. Let's get a little bit deeper. I'm going to give you I got 3 things to gauge about the interactions, all right? And then I'm going to give you 3 things, or I think it's 3 things that I think women how they should handle their friendships with men. 3 things to gauge about the interaction. Number 1, can a woman acknowledge that 9 times out of 10, and I think I'm being generous there, especially if she looked good. Can a woman acknowledge that 9 times out of 10, a man that's friends with a woman is ready to have relations with her? Not necessarily a relationship, and I need women, I need you to understand this. I'm not saying that he wants a relationship with you. I'm saying he wants relations with you. You feel me? So this is what I want men to kind of think about. And women, I want you to think about this as well. Everybody think. Everybody just think, please. Can a woman acknowledge that 9 times out of 10, the man is ready to have relations with her? If she cannot acknowledge that, listen, you ask my take. I think she's going to be engaged with him in ways that make you look dumb as her man, and may even get into situations that do spark her attraction or interest, and that male friend is already ready to pounce on it. She may even be interested herself and in denial, or wants to play dumb because she's got that guy on the back burner and wants to oversell the idea that there's nothing to see here. Come on, ladies, be for real. Be for real. Let's be honest with ourselves. If she can acknowledge that most men around her want to have relations with her, at least then she might know that there need to be appropriate boundaries in place. And she's got to know that she has to assert you as her number 1 man. If she can't even acknowledge that the men that are her friends would have relations with her if she said, I'm ready, if she can't even acknowledge it, that to me is more of a flag than having a male friend at all. Do y'all hear me? I think that's more of a flag, because that means you're either especially naive and you're going to get caught up in some situations you shouldn't be in, okay? Or you're in denial, or you're lying. That was 3. Or you're lying. And you know what's up. Here's the second thing I want you to consider. Does she see you as her number 1 man? Or is she one of the types that's like, nobody comes above my friends? That's a flag. So that's why I said, y'all, remember what I said at the beginning of this conversation. I think it's a lot less about whether there are male friends, period. I think it's much more about what the interactions are like, how she prioritizes and values the friendships and the relationship, and how they relate to each other. Does she fear counting on you, and she wants to keep others close as a backup plan, like as a backup plan of reliability, or a backup plan as I could date this guy if this guy falls off? Okay. Personally, you ask for my take. I think that you need to be with somebody who's mature enough to know that if you're talking about a serious relationship, that person's got to be ready to be all in. I'm not saying that they literally sacrifice everything on week 3, okay? But you have to be in the mind. It's the mindset. Y'all understand this? It's the mind, okay? You have to have a mind to be all into the relationship before you even get there. Is it too deep? Is this too much? I really think you need to be with someone who is mature enough to know that in your relationship, you got to be all in. This doesn't mean that you are the only person in her life, but does mean that she is ready to develop the kind of trust that you need to be able to count on each other to really be there, like to be that number one person. And before anybody says anything, it is vice versa. Right? Men who are like it's truly, you never grew up out of middle school. You still talking about like bros before hoes. Honestly, out of my face, please. I don't even have the energy to even give you volume. I really don't have the energy to give you volume at this point. Okay? Out of my place, out of my place, out of my space, out of my face. Please. Like when we're talking about matchmaking and stuff, you're the type that will be honestly dismissed. We cannot deal with you. Woman or man who does not understand that your person is the number one person. We're not talking about bros before hoes. We're not talking about homegirl is not like it's my homegirls or nothing. Like those are my ride or dies. Like if that's you, please out of our face. Like it's real. This is not the place for you. Okay. Like good luck. There are plenty of people for you, plenty of people that will help you do whatever you want to do, plenty of people that think, but this is not the place. I am so serious. I'm very serious. Okay? So yes, it's a vice versa thing. Both people have to be able to assert that person as the number one human on literally the planet, on the and it's not an exaggeration. Like I'm talking about literally. And again, right in the getting to know somebody phase, like you don't know that you don't know at the very very beginning that is going to be the person that you're going to be with for the rest of your life, right? But again, it's the mindset comes before the thing is actually here. So you have to have a mind for that. And the third thing I want you to understand is this. Understand the context of the friendship. For example, and let me say this first before I even go into what that means. When you're unable to consider nuance and context, you really do come off as rigid and even insecure. And I know men don't like to hear that. When a man says like, I don't want my woman to have a bunch of male friends, and the woman says, well, you're insecure. And they're like, no. But I'm going to tell you this for real. You really do come off as, because you might be insecure and at least rigid. Okay. If you cannot consider nuance and context, rigid meaning like it's either this way or it's that way. And there's no in between. Rigid meaning like I come into this, like I don't even know you yet. I come into this with an idea of what it should look like and how it should be. And if it's not that way, I cannot flex my mind to understand any other way. That's what I mean by rigid. So when you don't understand context and nuance, you really do come off as rigid and even insecure. Insecure because you see it as a threat, literally no matter what. And again, if that's how you want to live, that's fine. But honestly, the people I work with, and when we're talking about matching, we're doing all that stuff, like we have, like the people that I work with on a client level are able to think and are able to be flexible. It does not mean flexing your values, standards, morals, absolutely not. But it does mean that you're able to understand context and nuance and you actually care about why someone does what they do, or why someone has certain preferences or has a certain way about them. You're not so rigid. A lot of things that you see online is very rigid. It's very black and white. It either has to be this way or it's no way. It's a really unhealthy way of thinking, okay, and being in the world. You're really not developed enough, okay? You're really not developed enough. It's really childlike. Sometimes I think especially men who find my page, let me say this, especially men who find my page see that I'm reasonable and they think I'm like a tell women to get in line and it's either this way or it's nothing. It's not, that's not what this is. It's not a rah red pill situation. There's some truth and value in ideologies. It doesn't mean that it's all good. It doesn't mean it's all bad. Anyway, here's what I would like you to understand. Okay. Understand the context of the friendship. For example, a woman can have a lot of male friends and it can mean different things. Thanks, B, for buying a badge. I appreciate that. Thanks for your continued support. Thank you. And y'all can buy a badge as well if you have found the content helpful. I definitely appreciate it. All right. So, third thing, right? Can you understand the context of the friendship? A woman can have male friends, it can mean different things. For example, she may get along well with men and find it easier to be friends with men. She may be getting something out of men, like she doesn't like to be alone and they keep her company. That's another example of context, right? Here's another one. She may have a career where there are a lot of men, like a career in finance and fitness or in public service. Context matters, right? Are you friends with a lot of men because you need somebody you can call when on the weekend to take you or go get a drink? Or do you have a lot of friends because you happen to get along well with them, or your interests align more with male interests than the standard or typical female interests? Do you just happen to be in environments where there are a lot of men? Okay. So context can matter. There are different reasons that someone can have a lot of or several male friends, and it doesn't always mean the same thing. Okay? So let's go back to this example. If the context is she just fills her time and space with men because it's something to do, she likely has a hard time being alone and likely has a hard time being without external validation. I think you at least have a pink flag there. At least. I think a lot of people will call that a red flag. I'm going to give you some room to explain yourself. But I think, or to change, but I'm going to give you at least a pink flag on that. And I think I'm being honestly kind of nice. And the reason why I call that a pink flag at the very least is because when y'all get into a conflict, she's going to them. If she's not talking to you for, y'all got into an argument, you haven't talked for a day, she calling up Charlie. Because that's been the function of men in her life, is to fill the space and to be a comfort to her. It's not because this is somebody I could talk about. Maybe she really likes sports. It's not because, we talk about sports, we talk about politics, or we have the same interest in something. It's because you're a comfort to me. I know, right? I'm trying to be nice with the pink flag, but even when I'm saying it, I'm like, Lord, that sounds red. That sounds red. I'm trying to give somebody a chance to explain. Okay? I'm trying to give somebody a chance to explain, but I think I think it could be. It's a dark pink. Okay, it's a dark pink. Conrad said dark pink flags are evidence that we're lying to ourselves. Let me just screenshot it. I might have to when I listen to this again, I might be like, Taylor, you give a little generous on that one. Here's another example of some context. Okay. Let's say she gets along well with men, or she happens to be around them a lot because of her environment or interest, and she already has solid boundaries with them. I wouldn't necessarily consider that a flag. Again, y'all, one of the basis of this part of our conversation is it's not necessary, in my opinion, because this is about my take, okay? I don't think that it's necessarily about whether there are male friends or not. I think it is much more about what the interactions are like and how she orients herself to those friendships. And I do think that it's interesting, someone to have a opposite sex best friend, I also think is different than just having opposite sex friends. That's your BFF? That's your brother? I have some questions. That's like your sister? Why? Why are y'all so tight? You really should ask somebody, why don't you date them? If they got a BFF of the opposite sex, you should ask the question, why not them? What is it about them? Because if they say something like, well, they're in a relationship, that's not enough. That's not enough. That's not enough. Oh, they're taken. Well, they taken. Not enough. Flag. Somebody's talking about they got an opposite sex best friend. You need to know why they aren't dating that person. Why haven't they thought about marrying that person? What have y'all ever talked about it? There's some questions. Okay. Mike, hey Mike. Mike said, I don't think men should be having opposite gender friends that they didn't grow up with. It's weird. See, it's all vice versa, y'all. So exactly, I agree. Here's how I think women should handle male friends. Again, this person asked for my take, and I'm going to give you my take. Here's how I think women should handle male friends. First, I think women should clear their space from all male friends while preparing for a relationship. So if you are a male, if you are a man that has a female friend, I think she should not talk to you. I don't think she should talk to you. I don't think y'all should see each other. I don't think she should talk to you. I don't think that y'all should talk at all while she's trying to get herself together for a relationship. I think I think that women should clear all male energy from that space. I don't care how long y'all knew each other. We'll talk about the reintegration phase in a little bit. Okay. I don't care if y'all knew each other for 10 years. My friend that I knew 10 plus years, not a word. Okay. Not a word. Okay. Priorities. Understand this. You get male energy from those male friends. Their presence, their support, their perspective, their affection, especially if they find you attractive. I think that women should starve themselves. I think you should starve yourself of all of that. I think you should starve yourself absolutely nothing. I don't care how long y'all known each other. I remember when I made this was a while ago when I first talked about women not being friends with men, it's while they were preparing for a relationship. And you have some guys talking about, like, on the comments, like, and I'm not going to be dropped down and picked back up later. To me, oh, well, if you can't understand that, like, I have a priority here, and you going to throw a fit because you're my platonic male friend, and you can't understand that in this season or at this time, you are not my priority. Matter of fact, you kind of taking up some of my feminine energy, because the way that we interact is it's that kind of dynamic. If you can't understand that you need to move out of the way, fine. To me, it's really a fine. And I know some people don't think about it like that. They're like, these are your friends. They've been there forever. Like, you can't treat them like that. We just don't think about it the same way. This person asked for my take. And that's really what I think. I'd even changed my number. I didn't update them about my new number. This was not their time. Okay? And I got no, like, well, why did you not talk to me for over a year? Talking about like 18 months. Talking about like 18 months. And I don't know, if you see my man, you should be like, is you worth it? Okay? 18 months. It was probably more for some. I was like, I'm not telling you where I'm going. I'm not telling you how I'm getting. And it's nothing personal to them. It's a personal thing for me, because our dynamic is just naturally man and woman. And we kind of interact that way, even though it's not romantic, it's not sexual, but we have that kind of, it's just the energy. It's just the energy that you're going to have if we were to go out together, we were going to walk together. If we were going to go to breakfast, go to brunch. It's just that energy. Okay. And I got no kind of pushback, no kind of nothing when we reconnected. And I was like, hey, so yeah, ladies, you get male energy from those male friends, their presence, their support, and then even their affection if they find you attractive. I think you should starve yourself. I don't think you should be eating breadcrumbs of those interactions that you have with men, and you eating breadcrumbs, and that's kind of like getting you by. But you want a meal with a whole man, but when you start to get a little bit antsy, you call up Charlie. No. People are starting to kind of understand the power of fasting, right? Fasting for food. And women they can't wait to tell you that they're abstinent, that they're not having sex. What I'm telling you is that it's the same principle, even in all of your micro interactions, follow the same principle as the macro. So if you understand that for some, right, they don't want to have sex until they're in a relationship or they're married, that same principle of not having that kind of physical engagement with a man, the same principle applies to your micro interactions and you interacting in the small ways. Just a dinner, just a drink. Starve, fast. completely. Okay, does the logic make sense? I find that if you have an issue with that, then I think that this is something you should consider. Like, why? Like, why is that so hard? Like, what do you think that you're missing? And that's probably your problem right there. That's probably that one question. What do you think that you're missing? Why is that so hard? That's probably ding ding ding. That's probably your problem right there. Okay? That you would compromise the greater goal for these micro wins. What, you got a dinner? But you talking about you want a marriage? Come on. Be mature. Okay. Yeah, so going on these fasts, right? Like going like cutting your male friends out does not mean cutting them out forever. That's not my stance. Okay? It doesn't mean cutting them out forever. If a woman is someone who has male friends, right? Like I have always gotten along well with men. I played a lot of sports. I was interested like growing up, I was interested in things that like guys were interested in, like being outside and riding my bike. I still love riding my bike. And I still had the easy bake oven, and I still had the little kitchen set. And I was like, I've always been pretty well integrated. I was able to have like my own original interests, organic interests. And so some of those organic interests were things that like guys like being outside and playing sports and stuff. So I have gotten along well with men. I've gotten along well with boys when I was growing up. I get along well with women too. Like it's not really an either or thing. But my point is this, is that if a woman is like that, right? Like this, like me, you know, or somewhere in that ballpark, she's got to understand the priority. Okay? She got to understand the priority. She's got to be able to put her friendships, male and female, in their place. So hopefully just that little bit, I mean, can give you some idea of like context, that context matters, that boundaries and the way that someone interacts is more important than whether just the thing is present or not. It's the way I orient to the thing. Your priority is your man. If you got, honestly, this is what I think. This person asked for my take. This is what I think. I think if you got a male friend who's very hurt that you were focused on getting a man and keeping a man, and he had to take a back seat, if he gets upset about that, that man thought that you were his woman. If they got upset about needing to be basically like placed, honestly, I would be looking at them like, oh, huh. First of all, you don't have my best interest in mind. Ladies, I need you to understand that. He don't have your best interest in mind. And if he's worried about being your number one man, okay, and throwing a fit that you were getting ready to, one, get a man, and two, keep a man, okay? Come on. And that was the other thing. Someone mentioned something like this before, and I didn't touch on it. After you're in a relationship, I don't think you should be picking up opposite sex friends. I listen, I have not picked up not one more male friend. Not even a half, not even an acquaintance. I'm telling you, not even an acquaintance. Not even a little bit. If you picking up opposite sex friends, again, this is my take. You asked for my take. I don't think if you picking up opposite sex friends after the relationship, I'm kind of looking at you a little bit suspiciously. Okay? You're not picking up no more. You are, if you had them, we're gonna talk about reintegrating them in a moment, because you should have had them gone ahead and cut them. Okay? And then we're gonna talk about reintegrating them. And after that, I don't think you should be picking them up. What you picking them up for? What does it make? How does it make sense for me to? How does that even work? I meet a man who is definitely not going to be my man, 100%. Not going to be my man. And I exchange contact information with you for what? Like, I literally, come on, I don't understand it. Like what could we possibly talk about? Absolutely nothing. There is nothing we can talk about. If there was something, some sort of work, some sort of work thing, we should be talking through email. And and that's going to be very specific, very specific. What? I'm going outside, or I happen to be, maybe I got a glass of wine somewhere and somebody is talking to me and we exchange contact information because I need a male friend. But if you really doing that, you got some margin for some effery. I'm trying to, not use the words today. You got some margin for some, I'm not really all in here. Why? What are you exchanging numbers for? What are you exchanging Instagram for? I don't understand that. Come on. And the thing is, I do understand it, actually. I just don't understand your excuses and your denial. That's what I don't understand. I don't understand how you think we're dumb. That's the part. That's the part I don't understand. The part where you think we don't understand what you're doing. Because ain't no reason you should be picking up, if you a man, in my opinion, you a man picking up extra female friends, I know you're lying. I know you're lying. If you're a woman with a man and you picking up extra male friends, you are lying. So it could be so we're talking about friends that you had known, then you broke from them while you're, getting your mind right, getting your space clear. And like I said, I do not have the stance that after you get into a relationship, you cut off every opposite sex friend you've ever had. Okay. That's not my stance. Okay. But this clearly is my stance that after you shouldn't be picking up new ones. How new for what? Be very clear. Again, I gotta say this because when I post these reels, I know I'm gonna be hearing some silly stuff. I'm gonna say, well, one person shouldn't be everything, and you need friends, and yeah. Out of our face with that, because that's not what we're talking about for real. We're talking about you picking up new opposite sex friends, trying to act like it's nothing when it's something. That's it. Stop playing in our face. Stop playing in our face. Right. Let me screenshot this. Courtney said people give too much access and wonder why they have problems in their house with their partner. Exactly. Come on. You on some stuff. You doing that. Cut it out. You don't need any new male, female friends. How about you go why don't you go be friends with your man? Go be friends with your woman. You go learn how to hang out with them. Learn how to talk to them. How about that? What you need all that extra stuff? You already got these old ones, right? That we got to make sure that they stay in their place. And now you want to bring in a new one who doesn't even know you like that and definitely doesn't know your person like that. They had no obligation to act right. They got no skin in the game. They got no respect for you for real. And that's what I need women to understand a little bit more. I think men understand this so much better. Women, you got to understand this. When a man that just met you off the street has no reason to respect you as an individual. He might respect women in general. Like, I won't disrespect a woman. I'm not going to hit a woman. Like, in general, he's not a crazy person. But he got no reason to respect your relationship, period. He doesn't know you. He definitely doesn't know your man. He don't care about that man. He does not care. And men know this. And that's why they're so frustrated when women act silly about this, act like naive and dumb. And if you're naive, it's fine, but listen to the wisdom that the people are trying to tell you. That man is not trying to be your friend. He does not care. He does not care. He does not care. He's going to take advantage of the fact that he's fresh. You got no reason to not like him because you don't know him like that. He done nothing wrong yet because he's a new guy. Okay? He's coming with his, best face. And he doesn't care about your man at all. He doesn't care about your future at all. He does not care about your goals at all. He's trying to see, is there a weak point? What if she says she got a man? What's she doing talking to me? Come on, y'all. I didn't even want to I didn't even want to do this game today. I didn't even want to give away this game today. But I'm going to do it. He's like, okay, I met her walking down the street. I met her, she was just out. She was at the mall. She was, getting a little glass of wine. She was doing her little solo date. And she did tell me she had a man, because this is what women try to, I didn't want to do this. Women would be like, I told him I had a man. He's like, the fact that you said you got a man and you still gave me your number is absolutely insane. I already know your weak point. I just got to get more specific about it. I just got to know exactly why. I just got to know exactly why you needed a little bit of extra attention. I'm going to find out exactly why. Men, am I lying? Am I lying? Please, I want somebody to tell me if I'm pushing it. Am I lying? He's like, yeah, she said she got a man. That don't mean nothing. She's talking to me. Right, I'm telling too much. Let me reel it in. I'm not trying to, I don't want to do this. I did not want to do this today. Women think that you think because you told a man that you got a man. What? That don't mean, when I tell you, it doesn't mean anything. I don't know how much more I could drive it. Okay. Right. Listen, I gotta screenshot this because I need the people to know that I'm telling the truth. If anything, you look like a mark. You look like a mark. Oh no. Woo! You look like a mark. You might even be easier than the single lady. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. You might even, wait a second, hold on. You might even be easier than the single lady because you must be frustrated. Oh no. You must be wanting in some way. You must be. You might be easier than the single lady who's really happy on her own. You might be, you kind of looking like a mark. Like, I just gotta see where he not getting it. And I'm gonna fill that spot. Oh no. Gentlemen, I did not mean to tell your business, but Lord, we need to be honest. Okay? I've got to move on. After you've done your fast, y'all, after you have removed these men from your life, these male friends, here's what I think women should do with their male friends. After you get into a relationship, you should have a conversation with your person about friendships, about these opposite sex friendships. Like, you should really talk to each other. Again, I don't think that men and women need to totally cut their opposite sex friends out. But I do think that you need to be on the very same page about what those interactions are like and what the boundaries are. I'm not talking about in the same book. I'm not talking about, yeah, we both know that like there are certain lines we shouldn't cross. What are the lines? You need to be on the very same page about what kind, like, for example, in terms of boundaries that you have between you and your opposite sex friends. What kind of environments do you hang out in? Are y'all ever hanging out one-on-one? And if so, like, what's the protocol for that? And for what? Like, for what? For what are you hanging out with your opposite gender friend for? Okay, what kind of environments are y'all hanging out in? Again, we said context matters, right? Because is it not different if there's somebody that has an opposite gender friend and they always hang out in a group versus they have an opposite gender friend and they hang out twice a month and go to brunch together? Is that not different? It is different. Be for real, y'all. Be reasonable. So be on the same page with you and your person about what are the interactions like with these opposite gender friends. With the friends that you've already had, what have your interactions been like? Right? Like, what kind of, do y'all hanging out? Y'all calling each other on the phone? Y'all like talking on the phone? Listen, I'm not saying you can't do it, but I'm saying like your person needs to be cool with that. Y'all need to be on the same page. I didn't talk to any of my guy friends. I had a guy friend, and again, this was about 10 plus year friendship. We talk about books that we were reading. Like there was like a book that we were reading, the same book we were reading, and we only talked on the phone. And the book was called Relentless, which was written by Michael Jordan's trainer. Y'all read the book Relentless? I was a trainer. He was also a trainer. He studied like sports medicine and stuff. So we talked about that book, Tim Grover. Thank you. You know it. We talked about that book, period. Okay? Not all this extra stuff. And that was before. So I think you should know what kind of interactions do you have and for what? And be on the very same page about going forward. Like, what does that look like if you have an opposite gender friend? What do those interactions look like? What are those boundaries? What kind of environments do you hang out in? What topics are off limits? Let's go back to the original question, because we might have lost the original question at this point. Like, this person said, I've been told by a woman that her male best friend has been there for her breakups and emotional support. Now, if it was me, I wouldn't want my person talking to their friend about our relationship. Now, if you're cool with them talking to their friend about y'all's relationship, fine. Not okay with me. It's not okay with me, but you're not my relationship. Y'all are, whatever you got going on, fine. But just be on the same page about that. Understand this. If a woman is talking to her male best friend, like to get emotional support and comfort, listen, ladies, you need to be doing that with your man. You need to figure out how to do that with your man. Okay? You got to outsource comfort to a third party because your relationship's not giving. You got to learn how to do that with your man. Okay? Understand this. The male friend basically starts to learn the weak points of the relationship and can start to look more appealing as a partner, which are two separate things, right? Because if he's learning the weak points, if he's trying to run a play, okay, or he's just waiting for the opportunity, he knows what the weak points are because the lady's been telling him whole time. They only talk when she's frustrated with her man. And now he knows. So anyway, there's that. But also, this man, the male friend starts to look more appealing as a partner if every time with you and your man, you when you get frustrated, you could call Charlie. And if he's vying for that spot, well, now we have the perfect storm, because when she gets frustrated enough and he's been hitting that emotional spot enough, now we have an emotional infidelity situation. Now we have an emotional orgasms on the phone. Come on. You got to learn how to do that with your person. And if you don't know how to do it with your person, go to couples therapy. And I would even say to your female friends too, because you don't know, sometimes sometimes your lady friends want to make a play at your man and she learning his weak points, and it's just real messy. So I do not believe in keeping everything in the house. Like, you never tell anybody that you got a problem. I do think that if you tell somebody, it should be a professional, okay? If you do not have, or I should say in tandem with people in your life that really truly have objective point of views, that really are truly objective. And a lot of people don't have that. And you do need to get a third party. You do need a couples therapist. You do need somebody to help to mitigate the issue. Right. Cool Breeze says he's going to be agreeing with her even when she's on some BS. Right. He's not in like, you gotta, yeah, that is frustrating. Yeah. He's never been more validating. Okay. He's never been more, he's listening, he's leaning in, like he not saying any. Men know they don't even gotta talk. If a woman is venting about her man, he's like, yeah, oh wow, I can't believe he did that. He's never been a better active listener in his life. See, look. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it to you guys. I'm not going to do it to you gentlemen, but come on. Y'all be active listening like hell. Like, you be making, I can't, but whoa, wow. Oh my gosh. Wow. You making all the right noises. all the right noises. She just talking and she just never felt more heard. It's not funny. It's all y'all playing, right? D-Boy says, facts. Come on, Gio. Look, it's true. Y'all be sitting there just as patient as ever. You just be waiting like, I remember when we were in the car and I was talking about something that he didn't care about. And I said, what did I just say? He was making all the noises. Oh. Oh, wow. I said, what did I just say? What was I just talking about? He was like, I don't know. I was like, okay, all right. Y'all just be knowing how to make those noises, boy. Sometimes you gotta check in and be like, what the hell did I just say? They be like, I just honestly have no idea. I have no idea. He was like, it all kind of just started to sound the same. Meanwhile, if I'm not listening, it's a problem. Like it's a problem, but I'm not doing it, but you can do it. Okay. Anyway, everybody should be listening to their people. Have you had any relations with these opposite sex partners? Friendships. See, exactly. Have you had any relations? Stop it, y'all. Have you had any relations with these opposite sex people? And you have to decide for yourself if it matters to you, right? Does it matter to you? And then honestly, to what extent? If you guys had relations in the last 5 years, is there a statute of limitations that 5 years plus, honestly, we're really not going to worry about it. 10 years plus, we're really not going to worry about it. Over a year ago, you're not going to worry about it. You have to decide what it is that you need. I just recommend that you decide, like that you have a real conversation about, like, if it matters to you, if they've had relations with one of their friends, I recommend that you have a conversation about how to manage that. Like, does it matter to you if you're ever in the same space? If y'all sitting at the same dinner table, do you want to know? Is there anything that you don't want to know? For me, I have retroactive jealousy. It's one of my none of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. And I know it's something in me. I'm not even trying to work on it. I'm not even really trying to, I don't care what you call it. Toxic, whatever. I have retroactive jealousy. So for me, if I know that y'all did this something and and somehow we in the same space, I'm gonna feel away. 100%. 100%. I got jealousy about stuff that I wasn't even there for. I wasn't even talking to you. Okay? I didn't even know you. I have retroactive jealousy. Some people it don't bother them. Some people, it don't bother them. They're like, why would you even care? Like, that was before you. Okay, that's your life. But as for me, I got retroactive jealousy. I can boomerang it back. Like, I can be just as mad. I can be just as mad today about something that happened but I wasn't even here for because you and her did what? She did what? Y'all did what? Because if I see y'all I'm telling you, if I see y'all looking at you, little jokes, little inside jokes, little remember when? Oh, I promise you, I'm laughing now. It's not gonna be funny though. It's not gonna be funny. So not everybody has that. That's that's in me. I see some of y'all also had that little trait. Okay, it's not something I'm really working on. It's something that for me, it is what it is. It's a problem. As a matter of fact, I get mad when I think about it. I just make up somebody in my head. Like, she probably looks like that. I'm gonna make somebody up in my head and I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be mad. You gotta know your person. Right? and know like what their boundaries are, what are their limits, like what would bother them, like be and I really recommend like use hypothetical situations. Like, hey, if there was ever a time where we ever ran into somebody that I ever had relations with, is that something you would want to know? Okay, like, and how would you want me to tell you that? That's a mature conversation. It's nothing crazy. I'm being serious. I really think you should have the conversations like that, because what you don't want to happen is you never talked about it and then boop, y'all at the same table, y'all in the same restaurant, or that person comes up to you and you yeah. Does it make a difference if both friends are in a relationship? I think it does. Oh yeah, I didn't touch on that. Thank you for asking that question. I think that I'm pausing because I don't want to put this on a reel and somebody gonna be mad at me. I think a lot of times single people are loose cannons, and we don't like to think of ourselves that way when we're single, but you kind of a loose cannon. Like, cause you might do just about, you could go kind of in any kind of direction cause you're not really set on something. That's what I mean by loose cannon. Okay. Especially when you're not being intentional, you really a loose cannon. If you have an opposite gender friend and they are not in a relationship, that person is a higher risk. They are higher risk, even if they've known each other for 10 years. Okay. Because my friend is married. Okay. That friend is married. It makes a difference. I need, if I think that when you got opposite gender friends, they need to have something to lose. They need to have something to lose, someone to answer to, someone who's checking for them, someone that they care about, someone that they value, a relationship that they want to nurture, a relationship that matters to them. So I do think that it matters when if both people are in a relationship, like you need to be tethered to something, because otherwise people are liable to do anything. I know me and I know you, you know you and you know me. You don't know that, you don't know that, we don't know that third party or what they on. To me, it's like, it's not even about like what you as a person would or wouldn't do. It's also about the energy that they bring, like some kind of chaos that they can bring into your relationship. Even if you're not doing anything, even if you're not giving them any kind of airtime, right? Like just the kind of chaos and the energetic issues that people like that can bring when they not worried about the person that you're with and they really got their eyes set on you. It's just like, why would you even want that in your space? Anyway, last thing here, I think that you can reintegrate. I think that, if you have opposite gender friends, like I said, I don't think that you should that. My stance is not that men or women need to cut their opposite gender friends completely. So after you've done your fast, you have cut them out, and then you have had a conversation with your person about what their boundaries are and what expectations are around friends, opposite gender friends, and y'all on the very same page around about that. Then I think that there's opportunity for reintegration, right? Because you already cut them. You already deprioritize them, move them out of the way. I think you can reintegrate them back into your life once you and your person are clear about the role of opposite gender friends. I think you can bring them back into the mix. But what you don't want to do is create a threatening environment for your relationship or for your other person, because they're interested in you. They don't know your friends. Like you need to know, like, y'all need to be good before you start bringing in all this opposite gender energy, and making sure that y'all are really clear on if you're gonna have opposite gender friends, what does that look like? What are our boundaries, and what has been your relationship with these people? Because that might affect the way that, like, my comfort level, my risk tolerance. In the chat, I'm going to go ahead and answer these two questions, and then we're going to go. This first one, situational question. My baby mama hates me and I deserve it. How do I create an effective co-parenting situation? I do not think you should be getting co-parenting advice on the internet. I really don't. I think you should talk to somebody. Okay. Even if you can just get two sessions in with a couples counselor or a family counselor, that's what I think you should do. I don't think that you should take arbitrary advice about co-parenting on the internet. I really, really, really don't. Okay. I think you should talk to somebody. Now, what I can give you is, can you ask somebody can you ask your co-parent what a good co-parenting situation looks like to them if they're open to having a conversation? I can say women don't withhold your kids, but that only does so much on the internet. So there can be a lot of resentment that people have. I've worked with a lot of people that are in co-parenting situations and that are not conducive, okay, that are not peaceful. And there can be a lot of resentment built up because of the history of their relationship, and now the child is suffering. Okay. And your own mental and emotional health is suffering because of the negative co-parenting relationship. Hey, Tyler, because of the negative co-parenting relationship that you have with that person. So there can be some conversations that need to be had to de-escalate that. Again, I do not want to go really deep down that road, because your own individual or couple issue that you have with that person is something that really needs to be dealt with on like a one-on, like in a session where both people can really be heard, and we can understand what's the real problem, what's really not resolved, and how can we and what can we do to logistically, practically come together to be able to care for this child. But if resentment and pain is in the way of you caring for the child, you have a problem. And that's not something you can heal through a podcast. All right. So please talk to somebody. Like, save your money and go talk to a therapist. Go talk to a mediator. Okay. Don't just let this stuff. This is probably the best advice I can give that's not like specific to somebody's situation. Don't just let this stuff fester. I really have a hard time with parents, fathers and mothers, parents, single fathers and mothers, who let these situations fester and they don't do the work to be able to get to a place where they can even communicate in a healthy way with the co-parent. I have a real problem with that. It's no excuse. You and whatever your issue is with your co-parent needs to be dealt with, and the egos need to get out of the way for you to be able to effectively co-parent this child. Like, this is crazy. Either person holding something against the other person that's affecting the way that you parent the child. I can hardly think of things more selfish. It's got to be in the top 5. I think that's being generous. I get really passionate about this. I'm gonna move on from that. But talk to somebody, please. The last thing. What do you do when you acknowledge your bad behaviors and still decide to commit to a relationship, but the victim isn't being graceful or is having a hard time forgiving? Honestly, this sounds very similar, right? They just didn't mention the co-parenting thing. So I'm going to read it again. What do you do when you acknowledge your bad behaviors and you get into a relationship, you still decide to commit to the relationship, but the victim, so the other person, is not being graceful or they're having a hard time forgiving you? I don't know why y'all got back in a relationship. I'm trying to think if I'm going to go back to that last question, because there's something going on in my mind about this whole single parent thing. I'll go ahead and I'll add it to this. Number 1, don't have a child with this person. Please stop having kids with people you don't even like or who don't like you. Don't stop having kids with people who you don't like and they don't like you. I don't know how why y'all having sex with people you don't like? It's sick at this point. It's like that to me feels mental illness to me. Okay? At this point, we all know how babies are made. And when you're having kids with people you don't even like or who don't like you, and you're creating a whole life, you're creating a whole generation. So if you're in a situation where, if y'all don't have kids already and you're in a situation where they are harboring resentment towards you and they cannot collaborate, communicate with you, you all don't have a consistent way of getting back on track when the conflict gets derailed. We don't have a consistent way of being able to de-escalate when the conflict gets escalated. Do not have kids. At the very least, I say probably stop having sex, or probably stop that. And until you can communicate like mature adults, you shouldn't be doing adult things like doing things that create children. So if you acknowledge your bad behaviors and someone does not want to forgive, there's nothing that you can do, okay? Like, you can't make somebody do it. So couples therapy can be helpful to really so that you can have a third party to help to manage that conversation and really get to the bottom of how do both people get their needs met? What are the things that need to be addressed that haven't been addressed? Okay? And how do we communicate in a way where both people get heard? And before it gets escalated, can we bring it down? You have a third party to help to bring it down and keep it grounded so that we can stay on the solution track. And the last thing I'll say on that is you can leave. Like, if someone does not want to be with you, sometimes what someone ends up doing is they're holding something against you because you stay in a needy position. It puts them in a power position. It puts them in a power position. And so even if they actually can they know that they should be over it, or they know that you've apologized and you've really done the thing to try to make things better, and they still hold it against you because you act like you're like indebted to them when you've already paid your debt. And so if that's the case, that's not the case for everybody, but if that's the case, sometimes you got to understand that somebody's playing with your brain, and you got to be like, you know what? You can say something. You got to be like, you know what? I've done this. I've done this. I've done this. I've atoned for this. If you cannot tell me what I need to do in order to move this thing forward, I'm going to have to leave. If when you start to put boundaries in place because they think they're the only ones that can set boundaries because they're the ones that hurt, that's not how a relationship works. Like, you don't get to you as the person who did the hurting, you still do not stay in a place of being somebody's punching bag over this extended period of time. Okay, someone's got to either release it and help to, come together so we can work this thing out, or I'm gonna have to go, because at this point you are harming you are hurting me because you can't stop being hurt. And sometimes you do mess up a relationship so bad to where that's the case, and then you just got to go and just call it. So anyway, that's what I have to say about that. I think it's a really really gray conversation. And again, why I think that people should be in therapy doing one-on-one work. Okay, again, y'all, I'm going to put up a link after I post this live for people who want free coaching, free therapy. I'm going to put up a link where you can put your contact information in. You have to agree to be recorded, and you have to agree that I can use your video publicly. And I'm going to be doing some free work with people who are willing to allow me to use your video for the greater good of being able to see like what's going on with people. How do we fix this? So, and you can really see it in a person and hear what's going on with somebody and how we handle it. And hopefully we can reach more people that way. Does that make sense, y'all? So I'm going to post that link. Thanks for the people that bought a badge. This was good. Thanks for listening, y'all. Like, share, and subscribe to the content. I'll see you next time.